I have two important announcements before I do my routine. One is on this thing here, they have, I'm the Vice President of Activities. Well, they really should have used girlfriend's Desiree's name, because most of them work. And if you like the food here, thank her, because she picked hot and cold. If you don't like the food here, you could complain to Ed Ash about it. Now, here's how this whole thing happened with me. Last year, as you know, we had entertainment, we had 3 guys speak, and I know that we spent a lot of money on that. And this year we decided we didn't want to spend that kind of money, so I volunteered to do it for free. Now, if you think I'm funny, and you want to give me something out of an envelope, I'll pass around. I have 2 kids in college right now, so any men here are going to play golf right after we're here today? Anyone gave up golf to be here today? No golfers? We have a golfer in red there. Is that Marvin? Marvin, let me tell you a story about my first year of marriage, which was like a long time ago. So, 3 guys, we promised ourselves, handshake, we were going to play golf on a Sunday morning, and we didn't care what our wives were going to do or say. We made that pact. And sure enough, 3 of us show up at Philmont Country Club, like this. First guy was Ed. Man, he said, it was really tough. My wife, when I woke up and I told her I was playing golf, when I woke up, she just gave me such a hard time. But finally, I gave her $500, and finally she just let me go. The second guy, Wayne, what's the matter? My wife, she gave me such a hard time. She wouldn't let me play, but finally, I gave her the credit card to Bloomingdale's. Said, just go shopping, and finally she let me play. Now, I was the one who complained the most about my marriage, and I'm not saying anything. But finally they said, Jerry, how come you're not complaining? How did you get to be able to play golf this morning? I said, this was an easy one. I said, the alarm went off at 6 in the morning. And I said to my wife, golf course or intercourse? She said, take your jacket, it might be cold out this Anybody here been to a Hasidic wedding? Yeah. It was a true story. True story. So we're 3 weeks ago, ask Desiree, true story, we're in Brooklyn, and my first cousin's son gets married to my second cousin. And we go in, now it's a little bit modern, so in the beginning of the party, we were together, we had whatever, and then as the party started to go and we were going to start doing the wedding, they separated the men from the women, it was pretty cool. And then after the bride came in, and she walks around him, does anyone know how many times she walks around? 7 times. And you know the bride's face was covered. It was pretty cool. So he walks around 7 times. And my cousin, by the way, anyone know what the expression kumi level is? Yes. Okay. He is the biggest henpeck, Jewish religious guy with a beard and a hat. So, and it's his only son that's getting married. And we watched, now, I don't know if anyone knows this, is that right after they break the glass, we go and we have salad, soup, appetizer. And does anyone know where the bride and the groom go?
Yeah.
Upstairs.
They go in a separate room.
Consummate the marriage.
To consummate the marriage, right? It's supposedly the first
time they
right.
Together.
So here's what happened. I'm sitting right there. I saw this. I saw this. My cousin grabs his son, and he says to him, "Now listen. You're going to that room. This is the time, when you're in there, this is the time to prove that you are the man. You must prove that you're the boss. That's the time to do it. If you don't, for the rest of your life, you're going to be a kumi level wuss. You make sure you're the boss." And he's thinking to himself, well, first of all, they drink a lot. And he's thinking to himself, how am I going to do this? So the young boy, Yitzi, his name is, he goes in with his new wife, Rachel, and he's thinking, my father just told me I got to be the boss. I got to be the boss. What do I do? So he goes in there, and he takes off his pants, and he says to his wife, here, put these on. And she said, Yitzi, your pants are too big. He said, that's right. I am the man, and I wear the pants. And without hesitation, Rachel took off her pants, and she said, Yitzi, put these on. And he's trying to put the wall. He said, your pants are too small. I can't get into your pants. She said, that's right, and you won't either until your attitude changes. Now, another true story. Anybody have daughters? Daughters. Anybody like their boyfriends or their husbands? Now, my daughter is now in University of Miami. She's a first year of law school. She survived law school, so first year. But when she was in her third year at Temple, they did birthright. Anyone ever have kids do birthright? Great program. It's a great, great program. So what does my daughter do? She comes home with a very, very, very religious man that she met there. Guess what his name is? Moshe. How'd you know? So, I don't know about fathers. I mean, what we try to do is we try to interview or talk to or meet our daughter's future husbands or our boyfriends or whatever. So this guy is in yeshiva. Now, I never thought my daughter would come home with someone religious, but she actually came home with someone, like, from Orthodox in the yeshiva. So I said to her, please send Moshe to my office. I want to talk to him. I want to find out something about him. And actually, this is an email that actually happened. So I met the boy, and I said, my daughter, I mean, she's, you got to be honest, she's a Jack. And you're a yeshiva booker. How are you going to be able to buy her a really big house? He said, Jerry, don't worry. I'm going to pray every morning, and I'm going to go to services every morning, and God will provide. Okay, Moshe. And my daughter's going to want a big, gigantic ring. How are you going to be able to buy her that? She's going to want a big, gigantic engagement ring. He said, Jerry, don't worry. Every morning I'm going to go, and I'm going to study Gemara, and I'm going to study Talmud, and God will provide. I said, my daughter's we're going to want children, and they're going to want to go to expensive camps and day camps, and they're going to want everything expensive. How are you going to be able to provide that? He said, Jerry, every morning I'm going to get up, I'm going to daven, I'm going to pray, I'm going to learn, and don't worry, God will provide. So a couple of days later, my daughter emails me, and she says, so what did you think of my boyfriend Moshe? So I wrote, he has no money, he has no plans, but he thinks I'm God. Anybody members of, now this is interesting too, because I'm 55, and I was actually, my whole Jewish career, I was members of 3 different synagogues. I was brought up pretty religious, Orthodox, and then as I got a little bit older, I was conservative, and now with Desiree, we're members of a Reform synagogue. And being a financial person, I always try to find out how different people do different things. And I don't know if you ever noticed, if you've ever been in an Orthodox synagogue, sometimes they don't even have a synagogue. They go into someone's house and pray. I don't know if you've seen that. And then a conservative, they seem to have pretty nice, but whatever. But if you go to a Reform synagogue, like at my synagogue, oh my God, the money is unbelievable. So I decided I'm going to try to find out why is it that the Reform people seem to have more money than the conservative people, and why do the conservative people seem to have more money than the Orthodox? So I decided to do a little research. And I met this rabbi, the Orthodox rabbi. I said, Rabbi, can you tell me how do you do your money here? And how do you do your charities and stuff like that? He said, here's what we do. We get all the money in for raises from Kol Nidre pledges and for all the donations. And what we do is we draw a little circle, and we take the money, we throw it up, and then all the money that comes into the circle, we keep for ourselves, but all the money outside the circle, that's what we give to various charities at the Israel and stuff like that. That's okay, pretty good. Right? That makes sense. And I went to the conservative rabbi. I said, how do you guys do your charity? How do you guys raise money for your synagogue? It's pretty easy. What we do is we draw this big square, and we collect all the money from the Kol Nidre pledges and from everything like that, and we throw all the money up in the air that we get, and all the money that lands in the square we keep for ourselves, and all the money that lands out here like that, what we do is that we give to various charities, to Israel, and to stuff like that. Oh, that makes sense. And I went to the Reform rabbi. I said, Rabbi, how do you guys, this is a mansion that I'm praying in here. How do you have so much money? He said, well, we do exactly what the other synagogues do. We raise money from the Kol Nidre pledge. We do it like that. We get all the money. We throw it up in the air. All the money that stays up in the air, we give to charity. All the money that lands down, that's for us. Now, last, is anybody in between marriages or dating or anything like that? All right, so, right? So, by the way, great place. You don't have to go on J-Date or all those things. I met Desiree in synagogue, so it's a great place to go. And in the beginning, when I started to, after my marriage broke up, I used to go to synagogue every Saturday with my dad. He still goes, and he still actually reads Torah in the synagogue. And I would always be there alone, by myself. And then one time, the rabbi came up to me and says, Jerry, you're by yourself. You're not a bad-looking guy. You have money. How come you're not really dating anyone? I said, Rabbi, it's so frustrating. I meet all these nice girls. I think they're nice. I bring them home to meet my mother or my father. And every time my mother finds something wrong with the girl. The girl's too tall. The girl's too short. She don't like her hair. She don't like the glasses. She don't like the high school she went to. She's a nurse. I don't like nurses. She's a lawyer. I don't like lawyer. Every time I go, I meet someone, my mother finds something wrong with her. It's just so frustrating. Rabbi says, give me a week. I think I have an idea. Calls me up in a week. He says, Jerry, do I got the perfect girl for you? There's no way your mom's not going to like this girl. This girl is exactly like your mom. She wears the same glasses. She has the same color hair. She's the same height. She's the same personality. She's the exact same occupation as your mother. No, there's no way that your mother's not going to like this girl. And sure enough, my mother really liked her a lot. The only problem is, my father didn't like her. All right, guys, go back to your meeting. Thank you.